Henry McClure live. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. And I think, if you're a Christian, it doesn't end. It doesn't end today or yesterday. You know what I mean? You keep saying Merry Christmas for a while. Man, that day changed the world, changed the universe. So I want to talk about Bianca Bantley on McClure for a minute. And to the best of my knowledge, the Bantleons go back, pre Henry. My great great grandfather, who's right there, I'm named after that guy. After the Civil War, he was discharged to Kansas City after being a Yankee. I think he got as high as sergeant. He joined the Union Army when he was 13 back in Pennsylvania because he kind of had issues with his dad. His dad's up there, my great grandfather, Henry. Henry had 13 kids in wedlock. Henry might have had some kids out of wedlock. And Wilhelmina divorced him for his extracurricular activity. So, I got out at Topeka for 18 years and I didn't hate Topeka when I left. As a matter of fact, Ben Blair made a deal with me to stay in Topeka. That would have been a great deal for a up and coming real estate guy. He would have, and where Coldwell Banker was back then. Did you know Ben Blair actually? This is what I understand, and we'll have to call Ben. But he knew he was like one of the first, if not the first, one of the first franchisees of Coldwell Banker. He's from Sanford, California, or San Francisco, and graduated from Stanford. Um, but I think he knew Coldwell Banker, the actual guys, the dudes. So, hey, where are we going with all this? Proud of Bianca. She found a company that moved her out of Topeka, and she's enjoying living in Kansas City, living up to the title Kansas City Bantleon. So if what I think is true, she's 7 generations. I'm 4 generations here in Topeka on the McClure side. And one thing that's really cool about like going to Grace Cathedral is I got a picture in here of um, Clifford Bantleon, my grandfather, in front of Grace Cathedral in 1919. And I'm gonna be reading uh, "Resilient Heritage: The Episcopal Church in Topeka" by Don Chubb. I'm looking forward to that. I kind of skimmed through it. I was hoping there were some references to my dad. My dad used to be chancellor of the church. The bishop asked him to form St. David's. I was baptized in St. David's on November 22nd, 1959. And the original building's still there. They built around it. And it was really a sad day that when it burned down. And there's a story I've told about that. And if you want to know more about it, I'll tell you on another video. Just leave your comments. So I'm looking forward to reading A Resilient History by Don Chubb. Man, did I have fun at church on Christmas Eve. And Chef, if you're watching this, do you remember the year that we went? There was like it was almost like standing room only. I was I was like couldn't believe like we had to sit clear over there. All the pews, you couldn't get a butt in another seat. So funny when I'm up there. I'm taking communion and I'm talking to the bishop. I'm actually telling the bishop what a good job she's doing at the altar getting communion. And somebody's grabbing my ear, and I turn around, and it's Karen Hiller. That's funny. It's Topeka. And it's like when I wanted to sing happy birthday at public comment and Neil Dobler shut me down. That's sad. You know, what a stick in the mud. I'm worried about Neil too. Um, he was city manager during he was city manager. Well, anyway, we'll talk about that later another day. Let's go back to the Kansas City Bentley. I get sidetracked quite often, don't I? So I'm proud of Bianca matriculating into Kansas City. Mace Rich, Mace Rich got me out of Topeka, and Dana K. Anderson. I thank him all the time. Number one for just hiring me. As a kid, if you read, I was disappointed in the book that he wrote that he didn't really put the the first time we got acquainted. He didn't really reference that in the book, but I did have a few quotes. But Dana got a lot of us Topeka people out of Topeka, and what a great opportunity. And the reason why, except Thomas Henry Murrin is the exception to the rule, but the Southern California people didn't want to move to uh, Columbus, Georgia, or uh, Vicksburg, Mississippi, whatever. But the Topeka people, you tell us we needed to be in Winter Park, Florida, on February 1st. Hell, I'm loading up. I'm going. So Macerich gave a great opportunity to see, more importantly, how other communities worked, how other cities functioned. Doug Bassett was lecturing me the other day in a very good way of how I don't know how to market myself because of my experience. And I was trying to tell Bianca a little bit about, I was trying to tell her how dysfunctional Topeka is, that it takes 2 years to get a Pizza Hut a permit to build a $2 million building in a neighborhood that needs a new building that's going to do over 2 million in sales, because sometimes there's just you've just got to start over sometimes. The people that go, oh, what are we going to do with the old building, or can't they just renovate the old building? Just get out of the way. It's none of your business, especially if you're a if you're a tie salesman at Dillard's. Don't be critiquing free enterprise. Let the market decide. Let the market decide. That's what Topeka's got to do. Topeka's got to let the market decide. And here's the bullshit that I've had to listen to for 64 years is how Topeka's going to change. It's like it's like me, hey, I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to quit drinking. How many people have heard the alcoholics say they're going to quit drinking? Well, there's no difference in Topeka saying, well, we're going to grow Topeka and we just need more economic development money. It's like, we're going to stop the war in Ukraine. Let's get them some more ammunition. These are the same things. And so, and look at the last city manager we had. He's got a drug addiction, a sex addiction, and a power addiction. the, he's got the triad. What what is it called? Come on, what's the three things? It's the Trinity. Oh shit. Well, anyway, I'm proud of Bianca. That was what this video was all about. And I'm proud that she's in Kansas City. But you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to spend the rest of my life trying to make Topeka a place that she would want to come home to. Because what I saw in my future, well, I didn't want to raise her out in California and look at California today. I mean, California is a nightmare. California was a totally cool place. Back when I was working for Mace and Dana, Roush, Bewley, Mr. Lowkey, Tommy Murrin, Mark Klein, and others at all. Going to the horse track with Mace, what a different lifestyle. Well, Bethel, if you watch this far, Bethel knows. So my stories start really getting crazy when I start really talking about everything that I did for Mace Rich, and what I understand, what I like in my first life too. It's almost like dog years, you know. I compressed so much and did so much, never stopped. Man, did I have a great time. I embraced my drug addiction and alcoholism, but I'll tell you what, I'd never go back to that life again. Well, I've rambled on a lot. I don't know if you all are working today. I don't know where I'm going to post this. I don't know if I'm going to put this on YouTube or on the Bantleon page or just on Facebook. But I'll tell you one thing, I don't think I'm going to take on any new clients until I finish all the deals I've got on the table. I got a lot of stuff to do. I've got a lot of stuff to do for excavation. I want to do some deals with Fit Realty. I've got David Mahoney's properties. I got to finish up on the Boulevard, what I'm doing for Sterling Scott and Blake Scott projects. Business is good. We've got to get the government out of the real estate business. We've got to defund Go Topeka. There's no way a not for profit ought to be spending $1.9 million in overhead to manage $5 million. Who's who would do that? Mace wouldn't even let me do that. Especially, you got to start focusing in on what it originally was for. It was to grow the tax base. Anyway, I think I'm going to make a online video for Mr. Klossman, the head of Go Topeka. See if I can get him to see it my way. Like Bianca Bantleon says, it's all in the delivery. Like Doug Bassett says, it's all in the delivery. Merry Christmas.